Monthly subscriptions can make life awesome, but sometimes they can really creep up on you if you're not careful. And there's nothing worse than seeing a payment in your account and thinking, oh crap, I didn't cancel that, or what was that even for again? So today I want to talk about which subscriptions are actually worth paying for and why. Now, my needs will likely be different from yours, and this video isn't necessarily about which services are better than one another, like Apple Music versus Spotify, for example, because they're both not worth it. Just kidding, or am I? I'll get to that in a second, but the whole point of this video is to spark some thought around value. A lot of people don't realize how much they could save instantly. Like, did you know that by simply canceling your phone plan and signing back up with the same company, you can often drop 20 to 30 bucks a month? Companies reward new customers, not loyal ones. Super annoying, but it's true. So while I'll share some of my favorite subscriptions, I won't cover every single service out there. I'm hoping we can swap ideas in the comments, what's worth it, what's a waste, and what saved you money, because everything feels so expensive lately. And I know I want to maximize what I get and minimize what I pay. Maybe you do too. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about music services, because most of us need our music and podcasts, and honestly, Spotify and Apple Music are both great. They've got everything you want, their playlists are solid, and the recommendations are usually spot on. But they're just not the best value for me. Apple Music's like $10.99 a month, and Spotify's $11.99, and still, I'd rather pay $13.99 a month for YouTube Premium. Why? Because Premium includes YouTube Music and ad-free YouTube. So I get music, plus I get ad-free videos, background play, which is amazing for falling asleep to YouTube with, and downloads for offline watching, which is awesome when you don't get service on your phone. So yeah, YouTube Music might be slightly worse than Spotify or Apple, but the full package is way better of a deal for my lifestyle. Before I move on, this is where you can save the most money. Family plans and shared plans. Almost every subscription drops massively in price when you share it. YouTube Premium Family is $23.99 a month for up to 6 people. Spotify has huge discounts for families. Apple One's got shared storage, music, TV, everything. If you live with anyone, spouse, kids, roommates, try avoid paying for services individually for anything unless you absolutely have to. Companies build these plans expecting you to share. Split the cost and suddenly everything becomes way cheaper. Now, before I get into the rest of my subscription list, let's quickly talk about video services. We're cord cutters, no cable, just high-speed internet. So when we want to watch something that isn't on YouTube, we have to pick from Netflix, Disney, Crave, or whatever, because we're not going to pay for all of them at once. And honestly, they're all good in their own way. What I hate though is because sometimes you have to stack them just to watch a couple different shows, you know? Why can't one app just have everything? It's so annoying. That said, use the free trials when you can, or use a trial, or just pay for 1 month, watch what you want, then cancel when you're done. You don't need to commit for a whole year anymore. And live TV is still the weak spot. If you want sports, you either overpay for cable or subscribe to Sportsnet, ESPN, etc. monthly. Netflix and Amazon have dipped into live sports, and sometimes buying one of those just for playoffs or a specific event is totally worth it. Again, you don't have to commit forever. All right, I'm gonna run through the subscriptions we actively pay for, the ones we've canceled, and a few that might be worth it depending on your lifestyle. Here's what we're paying for right now. Amazon Prime. Prime is tricky. It's incredibly convenient, especially with a young family. Fast shipping, easy returns, and a bunch of extra perks sound awesome, but it also makes it way too easy to buy things you don't actually need. And a lot of the included Prime services like music, streaming, gaming have ads now, which kind of ruins the value, at least in my opinion. Prime in the US is better than here in Canada too. We're honestly considering canceling soon because we just don't order enough to justify it anymore. Costco. Costco is basically our second home. We almost buy everything there. Produce, clothes, household items. It's just easy returns, extended warranties. The value can be insane if you shop there regularly. We have the executive membership and usually get a couple $100 back each year. But if you're a single person or you don't buy in bulk, it might not be worth it. Private internet access. I use a VPN mainly for safety when I'm on a public Wi-Fi or doing things where I don't want my info floating around. Some people might not need one, totally depends on your usage, but I always buy this on a Black Friday annual deal, and for me, it's worth it. ChatGPT. I use this every day. Ideas for YouTube, helping the kids with crazy questions, generating silly images, acting as a nutritionist, therapist, brainstorming partner, whatever. I've tried Perplexity too, but I prefer ChatGPT's personality for daily use. You might just be fine with free versions of AI, but for me, the full access to ChatGPT is totally worth it. Roadside assistance. We have 2 cars, one of which is an older Hyundai, which isn't in a warranty anymore, and it's already had an engine die on us once before. So for that Hyundai, we pay about $100 a year for roadside assistance, and for that, I think we get 3 free tows. If you've ever had a vehicle die on you, you will know that that's worth the peace of mind. Again, if your car is under warranty, you probably don't need this, but for older vehicles, it's absolutely worth it. It's not the sexiest subscription, but it can save your butt. Tesla Premium Connectivity. This one is a guilty pleasure. It's $13 a month and gives us unlimited in-car data for music, YouTube, Netflix, maps, etc. Since we spend a lot of time waiting in our car during kids' activities and ferry rides, it's worth it for us. We could hotspot off our phones, but we live in a spot with weak reception, so premium is way smoother. A gym membership. Look, I love chips and beer, which is why I try and counterbalance it with exercise. I think maintaining muscle and mobility is very important for aging, so while I've tried investing in some at-home exercise equipment, actually I made a good video on a super cheap piece of equipment that really gets the job done. And while that's awesome if you can work out at home, I realized I still like going to the gym. My gym costs $16 a month, which is pretty decent for around here anyway. I would pay more if I was able to swim or sauna, but for now, this is good and fits our budget. Here are some subscriptions we've tried in the past, and I think that they're worth getting for a lot of people. HelloFresh and other meal kits. My wife often gets these 50% off of a first order of HelloFresh, and meal kits are honestly great when life gets busy. It saves time, adds variety, and the convenience is awesome. We only get them when there's a discount, but some people love them full time. It can be cheaper than groceries if you take advantage of the deals and might help shake up your menu. Walmart Plus. Great for people or families that rely on deliveries, free pharmacy delivery, easy returns, groceries to your door. Huge value if you use it. We live close to a Walmart, so we don't pay for it, but it's one of those things I never realized is a thing. But a lot of people just swear by it. GeForce Now. I'm a big fan of this one. It basically lets you rent a crazy powerful gaming computer in the cloud and then stream games onto almost any device. It's perfect if you have a weak laptop or travel with a Mac. You do need good internet, but as a short-term subscription or even long-term subscription as an alternative to building a gaming rig, it's awesome. Game Pass. It's like Netflix for games. Tons of titles, always updating, and cheaper than buying new games at $80 a pop. If you or your family games a lot, this can be absolutely worth it. PlayStation has their own version, as does Apple and Amazon Prime, Netflix. So depending on what device you have, paying for a gaming subscription might be of great value. Cloud storage like Google, Apple, etc. As annoying as it is, paying a couple bucks a month for cloud storage can make life easier, especially when your phone keeps telling you storage almost full. I also have a network attached storage for local backups, but not everyone wants to invest in hardware. If you're even a little bit photo happy or video happy, cloud storage can 100% be worth it. And if you're a little bit tech savvy, look into iMitch on your NAS drive. It's basically Google Photos, but self-hosted and free. Audible and Kindle Unlimited. If you read a lot or listen to a ton of books, these can easily pay for themselves. But if you're more casual, the library is surprisingly great. Books, movies, and even video games. I'm always impressed by their selection. Don't forget to use your local library. It can save you some money. But I do think Audible and Kindle subscriptions can be sweet too. Mindfulness apps like Headspace, Waking Up, etc. These are excellent if you use them consistently. Personally, YouTube Premium gives me enough meditation, sleep/relaxation content without paying for other apps, but you might benefit more from a structured approach. Organizational apps like Notion or Evernote, they're fantastic for organized people. I want to be one of those people, but I'm just not. If you actually use them, they're great tools. I just use Google Notes and Calendar. How do you stay organized? Do you just use the built-in apps on your Samsung, Google, or Apple phone? Let me know. Creative tools like Canva Pro, Adobe, Storyblocks, etc. These are amazing if you're building businesses or creating content. They have painful monthly fees, yes, but they're the industry standards for a reason. Casual users probably won't need them, and I just wish Adobe offered a one-time fee, you know? I don't care if I'm stuck using an older version of Photoshop, just let me buy it. Meal prep/fitness apps. A lot of people love these, and they genuinely help with motivation and tracking. I personally use ChatGPT for meal planning, and I structure my workouts in advance. But if you need accountability or like logging workouts or meals, these apps can be worth every penny. I've also heard great things about the Peloton and the Nike app for workouts. If it gets you off your butt, I think it's worth it. Try AI though for some ideas and motivation. It's surprisingly good. So that's it for today. Use trials and discounts as often as you can. Don't be afraid to cancel these services after a month or two or whenever you're finished with that show or the playoffs are over. These companies would do the same to you. And join family or shared plans for everything you can. It's a great way to save money. There's a ton of services I didn't talk about, like IPTV, magazines, learning apps, and many more. I just didn't want this video to be too long. I wanted to share what's been worth it for me and what I use right now. I'd love to hear from you. Please share your must-buy subscriptions or any money-saving tips in the comments. Sometimes your tip can change somebody else's whole budget. If you missed my last video about useful things worth buying on sale, check that out here. Otherwise, here's what YouTube thinks you'd like to watch next. If you're new here and like videos about things that make life better or more interesting, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you. And if you got value from this video, a quick thumbs up really helps. See you next time on Upgradeitis.